Hello everyone. So now we are going to start with CATIA series. We have completed AutoCAD, SolidWorks and Solid Edge. If you want to learn all the three softwares, you can follow the playlist under the channel 4 Dimensions Infotech. Today we are going to start with CATIA software. We are going to see the basics of CATIA, that is Sketcher. So to start with, I'm going to select the software here. So this is the starting interface. When you start the CATIA software, it is going to start in assembly interface. We can see here the title, it is showing CATIA V5 product. Now the full form of CATIA means computer aided 3-dimensional interactive application. The version we are going to use here is V5 and the interface is product. Product means assembly zone. But as we discussed, we are going to start with Sketcher. So I'm going to close this interface here. You can see the close sign, not the above close sign, but the sign that is coming below that. So I'm going to click on this close option. After that, we are going to say start, mechanical design and part design. So while entering in part design, it will ask you for the name. It means whatever name the file is going to be saved, you should specify the name here only. So I'm going to specify this name here as day 1. Say OK. So this is the part modeling interface. Here are the planes. At the left side, we can see this model tree area. Whatever will be the history of the part, that is how the part has been made. First feature, second feature, these sketches, all things will be saved here. So whatever feature you want to edit, you just need to say edit and you can access the feature to change it. This was model tree area. So in model tree area, first one is XY plane. It is showing the top plane here. The next plane is YZ plane, that is front plane, and ZX means the right plane. So all the planes are being shown. If you want to hide the planes, we can directly select the planes here by continuous pressing the control key. Select the planes and you can say hide. If I again want to show the planes, just select the planes, say right click and say show. The planes are visible now. This is the access system. It will be used in assembly so as to move the part from one place to another. Now we need to say sketch to the plane. So the plane will be activated and we can start with the sketching. So for that, we have this sketcher toolbar here. We can see the symbol here, this white symbol. You just need to click on this symbol here and then select the required plane you want to sketch. So I'm going to select front plane here, XY plane. As soon as you click the plane, the interface is being changed. It is showing the sketcher interface now. So before starting this sketch, we need to note down some toolbars which are very important here. There are total 5 to 6 toolbars which we are going to see here. So the first toolbar we are going to see here is profile toolbar. All the geometrical entities are going to come under this profile toolbar, such as lines, circles, rectangles, arc. Next one, after drawing the geometrical entities, we need to modify them. So for modifications, we have the operations toolbar. This operation toolbar we can perform fillets, chamfers, trim, mirrors, offsets and multiple commands. Next toolbar that is important here is after drawing and operations, we are going to say constraint. We are going to define the dimensions. So for defining the dimensions and providing the constraints, we need to go for this constraint toolbar. These are the 3 toolbars that are very important here. That is profile, operations and constraint. Next we have this sketch tools toolbar. Now this toolbar, when you select any command, it will expand and show the subtypes of the selected command. For example, if I take this line, you can see it will expand here. Now it is showing the subtypes here. Means this line can be converted to 3-point arc or tangent arc. So whatever command you are going to select, it will show the subtypes here. Say escape. After saying escape, you can exit the command here. Next toolbar is view toolbar. That will come in the bottom side. We can see this view toolbar. By using this toolbar, you can zoom in, zoom out, make the planes normal. We can say pan, or else if you want to rotate the model, you can use this command here, rotate. So all these commands will come in view tab. It by default comes at the bottom side here. So I'm going to place here only. The other toolbar is visualization. So in visualization, all the constraints are being shown. Means if I put on this all the 3 options at the last, the constraints will be shown in these sketches. You can control the visibility of constraint by using these 3 commands. If I put off this option, that is dimensional constraint, it will not show the dimensional constraints. If I go for this option to put off, then geometrical constraints will be hidden here. Means we will not understand whether the sketch is completely defined or not. So it is compulsory for us to keep all the 3 commands here. that is from visualization tool, that all the three commands should be kept on only. Same here in sketch tools, we have both this option at the last. The orange color is highlighting that these commands are being put on. So this geometrical constraint and dimensional constraint. If these options are being kept off, then after the completion, the sketch will be not shown as it is constrained or not. That's why these two options are also compulsory to kept on only. After that, we are going to start with the line command first today. So to start with line, we have this profile toolbar and we have this command here, that is profile. We have the line command also here. There is difference between profile and line command. We are going to start with the profile command first. Profile means we are going to take continuous line here. So if you want to draw a profile by using line command, then you can go for this option profile. We'll start with the origin only. Now if the line comes vertical, it will be shown in the blue color. And if I make the line inclined, it will be shown in white color. So you can judge whether the line is coming vertical or horizontal or not. So here again, if I keep this horizontal, it is showing blue color. I'm going to keep it vertical only here. Just click on this point here. Now after making this line, we can see one relation is also being shown, highlighting that line is vertical. It is showing the letter V here, means vertical. Now the line, if you make from origin, it will come in green color. But at the end point, we can see this strip is coming in gray color. This end point, it is showing in gray color. So if I drag this end point, the line is movable. Means this line is not fully constrained. If I want to go for sketch analysis, I just need to go on Tools tab, say Sketch Analysis, and here I'm going to say Diagnose. So this point, the above point is showing, that is point number 2 as under constraint. If I click on this point, you can see it has been highlighted in orange color here, and that point is being shown as under constraint geometry. I'll close it here. So if I want to constrain this line, or if I want to control the length of this line, we are going to go for constraint toolbar here. Select the second option, that is constraint. Just double click on this option. I'm saying double click, it is because if I single click here, then it will provide only one dimension here. If I double click it here, then I can go for continuous dimensioning. That's why double click. Select the line, double click here again to change the value. This constraint definition box will appear and you can change the value here. So I'm going to say 80, say OK. Now the length is coming 80, and we can see this point is also coming as in green color. That is, it is showing the line is fully constrained. If I again go for Tools, Sketch Analysis, Diagnose, now everything is showing constraint here. That is this line, point, this relation as well as the length. Everything is constrained completely. Say close. So in this way we can make the line or any entity here. If I am making randomly a line here, this line is not being made vertical. So if I want to make this line vertical, again I just need to select the line. Now in constraint toolbar, select the line, go to constraint toolbar and select this first option, that is constraint define dialog box. So now by selecting this line, it is showing whatever relations are possible here. So I'm going to say the relation here as vertical if I want to make the line vertical. If I want to make this line horizontal, then I'll go for horizontal relation. I'm going to select vertical here, say OK, and we can see this V letter has been added, showing that this line is orientation wise vertical now. But still we can see this line is moving as the length also is not being provided and the relation with origin is not being provided. That's why this line is completely moving in this interface. So to define this line, we need some dimensions also here. Say double click, select the line, put up the value. I'm going to say it 80 mm length. Now as this line is not made from the origin, we need to provide the constraints from the origin here. So as to define this position of the line, I'm going to double click on this constraint option, select the origin, select the line. Now after selecting the origin and line, this dimension is coming aligned, means inclined. If I want to make this dimension as X dimension, means horizontal dimension, I need to right click here and say horizontal major direction. It will show the dimension here as horizontal. Just double click it here and say 150, say OK. Next we are going to give the vertical dimension. Horizontally this line is constrained. If I drag this line horizontally, it is not going to move here in horizontal direction. But in vertical direction you can see it is still moving. So to constrain by vertical also, we are going to provide the vertical dimension from the origin. Say double click, select the origin as well as the endpoint of the line. Say right click and say vertical measure this time. and this line is completely constrained now. So in this way we can constrain the line even if we have not made it from the origin. But we can see here the number of dimensions required will be more here as compare if we make the line from origin. That's why it is better to start any drawing from the origin only. Next, if I want to continue making this line, I'm going to say one horizontal line and one inclined line. Now to constrain these dimensions, we can see this horizontal line length is not been provided. That's why it is moving horizontally. So I'm going to provide horizontal dimension here. I'll double click here and say 70. Now there was a line here. That's why for this inclined line we have not given any angle here. But if this line doesn't exist there, suppose if I delete this line, then to define this line we need to provide the length as well as the angle, both. We can see the motion here. Now this line is been rotating here. Means we need to provide the angle to stop the rotational movement as well as the length. It is compressing and expanding. So to define this line length, again go for double click on this constraint option, provide the required length as well as the angle. I'll say this angle as 135. Double click here also and say dimension as 100. Now this complete geometry has been constrained. To confirm that, I'm going to say tools, go on sketch analysis, say diagnose, and we can see every entity here is coming ISO constraint. Say close, and this geometry will also appear in green color, showing that this complete geometry has been fully constrained. Again, we'll focus on this horizontal and vertical relation here. Suppose if I make this line inclined, I want to make this line vertical again. So you just need to click on the line, go for constraint dialog box and say whether you want the orientation as vertical or horizontal. I'm going to say vertical, say OK again, and this line is been made vertical. We'll make one more line here. Now suppose I want to define this line. So for that I'm going to start with giving the length, provide the dimension and double click on the dimension. Provide the dimension here is 150. Now the length has been defined, but still it is not been defined from the origin. I'm going to go for this constraint again. Select the origin and the line's endpoint. Say right click, one horizontal measure and one vertical measure. But still this line is not constrained. It is because this line is inclined. So if you want to provide the angle here, I'm going to make one reference line from this fully constrained point. I'll take this vertical line. It is coming complete solid line. I want to make this line as a reference line. I'm going to select this solid line here. Go on this sketch tools and I'm going to select this option, that is construction mode. Select the line and select construction. So this line is converted to reference line now. Again, if I want to put off the construction and then continue with this sketch, I'll put off this option here and then continue with this sketch. But if I forgot to put off this option and then continue with the geometry, by default all the geometries are going to come in construction line only. So better you remember to put off the option first and then going to continue with this sketch. So we have made one reference line here for providing the angle. The purpose of this line only was to provide the angle. That's why we have taken the reference line. Place the toolbar at its place. Go for the constraint dimension. Select both the lines and provide the angle. I'll say this angle as 25 degrees. Now this line is completely constrained. But we can see the endpoint of the reference line. It is moving. Now this line is construction geometry. So it doesn't matter if you don't provide or provide the dimensions here. If I keep this point under constraint also, it is not going to affect the 3D here. Only the positional dimensions are required. That is this horizontal and vertical for starting the position of the construction line. Now you can see all these lines are being made with some length. And this length are having some units. The unit which we have used here is millimeters. CATIA will by default start with millimeters only. But if I want to change the unit, then go to this tools option, select the options, go for parameters and measure, and here you have the option units. You can change the unit if you require. If I want to work with inches, I can go for inches. If I want to go for millimeters, centimeters, all the units options are available here. But still I am going to continue here with millimeters only. Say OK. It is by default set unit as millimeters only. Means if you are working in millimeters, you can directly start with this sketch. Now I'll take this sketch tools here. So after seeing how to change the unit, we are going to go for the line command again here. But this time you just need to observe the sketch tools. If I select the line command again, this tool will expand and it is showing the subtypes of the line. Suppose if I start continuing with the line, this line is appearing here. But if I want to convert this line to 3-point arc, then you just need to select this option, that is 3-point arc. It is subtype of line only and it is coming in sketch tools. Select this arc here. As soon as you select this 3-point arc, the first point from the 3 points will be this starting point only. The next point will be second point and this will be the third point. As this 3-point arc has been made using line command only. Now if I continue with the line again, select the end point of the arc, make one line, and then going for the second line we have this option put on here, that is tangent arc. Means if I want to continue this line as a tangent arc, we can go for this option. It will be converted to tangent arc. Tangency relation will automatically be applied there. I'm going to select this option tangent arc and we can see this line is converted to tangent arc now. Now this arc commands, that is 3-point arc and tangent arc, we can make them by the separate command also. We are going to see the arc command later here in circle tab. So this was the lecture for today. Now if you want to learn CATIA, continue watching the playlist in which we are going to cover the upcoming commands. Till then, we'll stop here. Thank you.